Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Mukhtasar al-Qudoori here. Hanafi Fiqh we are learning. If you guys are not familiar with my YouTube channel, please hit the like, subscribe button. There's a lot of things that you might like on there, inshallah. And share the videos as well with others because it helps my channel to grow as well. Right, so let's start with this then. So, amma shirkatu al-inan. Shirka means partnership. Inan is the second type of shirka, which is limited partnership. Tanaqidu, contracted. Wakala, it means agency. Kafala, guaranteeing. Tafadul is excess. Yasihu, valid. Yatasawa, tasawa means to be equal. Yatafadala, it means to be uneven or unequal. Ribh is profit. A lot of these words again. Mufawada, this is the first type, a unlimited partnership. Yashtarika, to both share. Ishtaraka yashtariku from the word shirk. Ishtara, to purchase. Tuliba is majhul. Tuliba, talaba yutalibu, to demand, is demanded. Hissa, it means portion or share. Malain, two wealths, dual. Batalat becomes void. See, a lot of these words you guys already know. But just for barakah purposes, I'll just go through them. Yeah? So, in ishtara ahaduha halaka, to perish, to get destroyed. Mushtara, the purchased item. Mushtara. Then raja'a yarji'u, to return. Hissa, portion. Shirka. Lam yakhlita is not to mix. Darahim, silver coins. Musammat, mentioned ones. Mutafawidain are the two people that are doing mufawada. Sharikay al-inan, so that's limited partnership, two limited partners. Yubdi'a and yubdi' al-mal. Right, so abda'a yubdi'u, ibda' is to leave it as buda'a with someone, so like a trust. Dafa'a yadfa'u, to hand over. Mudaraba, silent partnership. Wakala yuwakkilu is to make someone a wakil. Alright, so we'll explain this now. Let's look at the tarkeeb of this now. Again, some of you guys are tarkeeb fans. So for you beautiful people, I will do this. Amma shirkatu. So shirkatu is mubtada. Shirkatu al-ina. Shirkatu. This alif lam I think is not supposed to be here. Yeah. So alif lam is a mistake. So I think it's supposed to be amma shirkatu al-inani. Mudaf ilayh. فتنعقد انعقد ينعقد تنعقد. Okay, انعقد فعل واحد مؤنث على الوكالة جار مجرور دون الكفالة ويصح التفاضل is the file of يصح and then يصح أن يتساوي في المال ويتفاضل. These are two verbs, okay, times two في الربح. So in the ربح يجوز أن يعقد عقد يعقد منها ببعض ماله دون بعض. So دون بعض. ولا تصح إلا بما أن المفاوضة تصح به ويجوز أن يشترك ومن جهة أحدهما دراهم ومن جهة الآخر. So this is the مبتدا مؤخر دنانير, and both of these are غير منصرف. Right, let me know why they're غير منصرف. وما اشتراه كل واحد is the file منهما للشركة طولب طالب يطالب طالبة to be demanded بثمنه دون الآخر ثم يرجع على شريكه جار مجرور بحصته منه. So a lot of this, honestly, I think if I left it to you guys would be able to do it without a doubt. Blindfolded, inshallah, yeah? Blindfolded. وإذا هلك مال الشركة أو أحد المالين قبل أن يشتري شيئا. This is going to be the مفعول به of يشتري. بطلت فعل شركة. وإن اشترى أحدهما بماله وحلك مال الآخر قبل الشراء فالمشترى. This is اسم مفعول مشترى بينهما على ما شرطا dual ويرجع على شريكه بحصته من ثمنه تجوز الشركة في الفاعل. وإن لم يخلطا times two خلط يخلط المالين مفعول به dual. ولا تصح الشركة إذا شرطا لأحدهما دراهم. So this is the مفعول به of شرطة. مسماة صفة صفة من الربح ولكل واحد من المتفاوضين وشريكي العنان أن يبضع المال ويدفعه مضاربة يوكل من يتصرف فيه ويده مبتدأ في المال يد أمانة. Alright, so that's basically two things out of the way. The last part of the lesson now is to explain the text. So let's have a little explanation of this then. Right, so this is basically what's going to happen now. So remember, this is to do with shirka. This is the second type of shirka that we have. Right, second type of shirka. So let's say, for example, there is two partners here, and the two partners want to put money together to make themselves a business. Right? So a partnership in something. So the rule basically is that each partner can put in how much ever he wants. There's no rule like the mufawada issue, unlimited one. So this is, remember, inan, limited. So they're limited to how much they can limit. So this guy, let's say he puts in, I don't know, £1,000, and this guy puts in £5,000. Right, that's fine as well. Both are fine. Both have invested money. So 1,000 here, 5,000 here, and it can be in different currencies. It doesn't really matter. So the thing you have to remember about this limited partnership is that when they actually work together, what's going to happen is it's not going to be on kafala, right? Remember we said about guaranteeing, it's going to be on wakala only. Right? So what that means is whatever each person buys is going to be a wakil only on behalf of the other. So this guy's going to take his 1,000 now. He's going to go, let's say, I don't know, buy himself a car. Right? So he's bought himself a car, and this guy has gone and he's bought himself a laptop as part of the business. They're going to buy and sell. So when this guy, actually let's call him A and this is B. A bought this car, and this car now becomes part of their business. So let's say he's paid, I don't know, £800 for it. Right? Because he's got £1,000, so £800 he's paid for it. So that means technically if they had made a 50-50 deal, a 50-50 deal of buying and selling, that means he has actually bought the car for 400 from his own and 400 from this guy. Yeah, because it's 50%, 50%. And then what he's going to do is later on he's going to go back and he's going to reimburse that 50% from that guy. So that guy's going to give 400 from his money, and that's how they're going to do the business. Right? So they're going to buy stuff, split it. Right? But they're going to only act as wakil. So this guy, when he bought the car, he's a wakil in this, an agent in this. And then when this guy bought the laptop, let's say he bought the laptop for, I don't know, £1,500. Right? Laptop is more expensive than a car. So he bought this, so then let's say the split was 50-50 split. It doesn't have to be 50-50 split, but let's say the deal was 50-50 split. Right? So now, obviously, this guy's going to give $750 from his pocket and $750 from his pocket. So he is going to be a wakil in that 50% of it. Does that make sense? So that's basically how you're going to work with this contract. It's going to be a purely wakala-based contract between the two. That's the deal they're going to have. It's not going to be kafala. It's not going to be, if this guy buys the car, for example, for 800 and he can't pay off the money, they're not going to get B to pay off for him. So he's not the guarantor. Make sense? So in guaranteeing, in mufawada, the other guy would be demanded to pay if this guy can't pay. But that's not the case here. Alright, so he says, أما شركة العنان, as for شركة العنان, فتنعقد, it is contracted على الوكالة, upon wakala, like we said, right? دون الكفالة, not kafala. And يصح التفاضل, and it's permissible to have excess amounts on either side. They don't have to be equal contributions. في المال ويصح أن يتساويا, and it's also valid for them to be equal in mal and also differ in ribh. So they could actually invest the same amount, but one could say, look, in this business I want, because I'm more skilled, I want 60%, 60-40, yeah, of the profit. So whatever we buy and sell, I want 60% of it and you get 40% of it. And that's possible as well, right? Because not every partner is going to be good at buying and selling, and one of them might be, very active and the other one might be less active. Okay. وَيَجُوزُ. Okay, let's do this in a different color now. Right, so next one now. So it's also possible, so if I was to draw this out again, let's draw it over here. Actually, look at this. I can make two heads like that. So these are two guys, two partners. Right, the two partners. So they can actually invest some parts. Yeah, so this guy doesn't have to put all his money in. He can put, I don't know, £1,000 in. Right, and he's actually got at home, let's say, 10k in savings. But from there, he's taken out £1,000. And this guy has invested 5,000. And he's actually got in his savings maybe, I don't know, 8,000, 8k. Right, and he's taken out that. So each one can actually pay a different amount. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be the same amount. Right, so this is what he's saying over here. He says, وَيَجُوز permissible أن يعقدها, that each one of them, كل واحد, can contract it منهما, from them two guys, ببعض ماله, with some of their wealth, دون بعض. Right, so 5,000 is some of 8,000, 1,000 is some of 10,000. And remember in the mufawada, we said that the deal has to be with is what they can use. So the only thing that you can use in the investment is gold, silver, and currency. Remember we mentioned this in the last lesson. Mufawada, what we mentioned in unlimited. So you can only use gold, silver, and currency. Right? You can't, like, one guy has a sofa, wants to invest a sofa into the business, and one guy's got, I don't know, his slippers or something, or strange things. You can't do that unless you obviously do that kind of thing that, we said, that you kind of sell each other half of each. So he says, وَلَا يَتَصِحُ, it's not valid, إِلَّا بِمَا بَيَّنَّا, except what we mentioned, أَنَّ الْمُفَاوَضَةَ, in which mufawada is valid bihi. Yeah, so what thing is mufawada valid in? It's only valid in gold, silver, and currency. Okay, in fact, وَيَجُوزُ أَنْ يَشْتَرِكَ وَمِنْ جِهَةِ أَحَدِهِمَا, and it's permissible for both partners to share, وَمِنْ جِهَةِ أَحَدِهِمَا, from one of the two, there is darahim, silver coins, and from the other, وَمِنْ جِهَةِ الْآخَرِ dananir. Remember I told you last time, right? So you can have, different currency. Like obviously over here, the currency is the same, pretty much, it's pounds and pounds, but you could have had, let's say, dollars. Let's change this to dollars. Yeah, supposed to be dollars. Yeah, dollars. You can have dollars. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be the same. Okay. Now let's continue with this one over here then. So then he says that each one of the two, وَمَا اشْتَرَاهُ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ, whatever each of the two people buy. So let's say these are the two guys. Right, let me know if you guys like my drawings. Do you guys feel engaged when I drew these drawings? I really kind of wish, I wish when I was studying first, I wish my teacher would draw a lot, because I could understand it much better with drawings. But may Allah give my teachers Jannah al-Firdaus and highest levels in this dunya. وَمَا اشْتَرَاهُ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا لِلشِّرْكَةِ, and whatever each of the two people have purchased. So this guy has gone and he's purchased, remember we said before, he's gone and bought a car. This is another style car. And this guy's gone and purchased a laptop. Right, it's a laptop, car, just in case you can't recognize that. Car and laptop. وَمَا اشْتَرَاهُ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ, whatever each of the two people buy, مِنْهُمَا, from these two, لِلشِّرْكَةِ, for the shirkah. Remember, they're using their money. طُولِبَ بِثَمَنِهِ دُونَ الْآخَرِ, he is the one that the seller. So if this guy was to buy off, I don't know, this seller, and he was to buy off this seller, then the seller is going to ask him exclusively. Right? So he will be asked rather than the other person, because remember, it's not guaranteeing. The other guy is not a guarantor for this. So this guy is going to say, okay, the car, how much is the car for? Okay, £800. Okay, cough up £800. Give me £800. How much is the laptop for? 1,500. Okay, you give me 1,500. And if you can't pay, this guy cannot go to this guy and ask him for it. Because when we said it's no longer kafala, it's not kafala. So kafala doesn't work here. Then he says, ثُمَّ يَرْجِعُ عَلَى شَرِيكِهِ, and then he will go back to his sharik. So remember, this guy has basically paid 800 for this. So if the deal was 50-50, so 400, he's going to get 400 off him. Right, so he's going to go to him and say to him, okay, you now pay me 400 for this. So he's going to reimburse him. That's part of the deal, that is. بِحِصَّتِهِ, with its share, minhu, from him, or from it. All right, now what happens? So here's like a bit of a technical kind of thing. Remember, the contract starts, and what if the contract actually gets messed up? How can the contract get messed up? So if I was to draw a timeline here, all right, so let's say, for instance, there's a timeline. They started the contract on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Monday is when the two parties have done the contract. All right, so they've decided to do the contract on Monday. And the first buying actually took place on Thursday. So Thursday is the first day where they actually go and buy something. All right, so let's write this down then. So Thursday is purchase day, buy. They bought some goods. The guy bought a car, he bought a laptop on Thursday. Now the problem is in between, from here, Monday, all the way to buy day, if their wealth gets destroyed before they purchase anything, the whole shirka model or the contract becomes void. Right? So if anything gets destroyed, if the mal gets destroyed before this time, then the contract is void. Right? Simple as that. So when halaka malu shirkati, when the mal of shirka gets destroyed prior to buying day, or ahadul malain, or even just one of the two. So this guy's got destroyed, or this guy's got destroyed, both of them. قَبْلَ أَنْ يَشْتَرِيَا, before they purchased anything, before both of them purchased, right? What happens if one of them has already purchased? So one of them purchased, I don't know, on Tuesday, and the other one was supposed to purchase on Thursday. What happens then? So we'll come back to that. بَطَلَتْ الشِّرْكَةُ. Now, so then he says, but what if one of the two parties was actually to get it destroyed? So this guy actually, he purchased something on Tuesday. So he bought the laptop on Tuesday, right, for 1,500. And this guy actually didn't buy. He was going to buy it on Thursday, but it got destroyed. So here, this part of the deal goes through. Right, so if I was to just, I think that's fine. You get the idea, don't you? So what happens in this case? This is what he wants to explain. So he says, إِذَا اشْتَرَى أَحَدُهُمَا, if one of the two was to buy something, بِمَالِهِ, with his mal, وَهَلَكَ مَال الْآخَرِ, and the mal of the other person got destroyed, قَبْلَ الشِّرَاء, prior to this guy buying something for himself, فَالْمُشْتَرَى, then the purchased goods, the laptop, بَيْنَهُمَا, will be considered between them, عَلَى مَا شَرَطَ, on the profit that was stipulated. Right, so let's say if it was, I don't know, we're doing 50-50, isn't it? So if it was 50-50, then it's going to be 750, 750, right? 750, 750. And then this guy has to pay 750 to him for that. Yeah. So, and if they went to go and sell it, then obviously it's going to be paid that much. But if it wasn't 50-50, if it's someone else, something else, then it's not going to be. So وَيَرْجِعُ, and he's going to go back to, recourse back to his sharik. Right, so he's going to go back to his sharik. He's going to pay that بِحِصَّتِهِ مِنَ ثَمَنِهِ, of his price. Okay, that's done now. Now, do you have to, this is a question, do you have to physically merge the money together, the assets together? Do you physically have to merge them together? No, you don't. Right, so it's not necessary for the person to merge their mal together. Right, so this guy can have his £1,000 in his bank or in his house. He's got it under his mattress. And this guy's got his 5,000, supposed to be 5,000, in his house. right? So they haven't mixed the mal together, right? So not mixed, right? So not mixed together. Is that considered to be okay? He says yes. The juzu shirk, shirk is jais. وَإِن لَمْ يَخْلِطَا الْمَالِ, even if they don't mix the two mals together. Okay, right. What things are not allowed? Here are some things that actually, no, one of the things that's not allowed. What they can't do is they can't have a fixed profit. You can't have fixed profit. Fixed profit is not allowed. No. So let's say, for example, we go back to this one over here. Let's say let's just actually do this over here. So he buys a laptop and this guy buys a car. And this guy says, I want fixed profits. I want my profits, I want to be £500 a month fixed. You can't do that. So you can't stipulate a fixed amount. You can do percentage in shares. That's okay. The reason you can't have fixed is because there's no guarantee that you are going to get 500 from that laptop. Right? So therefore, if you only get 500 from it, how can one guy take all profits and the other guy go home with that penny? Right? So that's not considered to be permissible. So this is why he says, وَلَا تَسِحُ الشِّرْكَةُ, shirka is not permissible. إِذَا شَرَطَا, when they stipulate, both stipulate, لِأَحَدِهِمَا, for one of the two, fixed دراهم مسمات من الربح, of the profit. Right, so not allowed to do that at all. Right. Finally, what kind of trade devices or techniques or models can they actually adopt in this? So they are allowed to adopt several types of things, basically. Anything that's going to be conducive to the business, they can adopt it. Right. So here he gives some examples of this. They can do ibda'. So number one, bida'a. Al-ibda'. So ibda' is basically one guy gets the profit. Yeah. So one guy gets the profit. So he invests, one guy works, and this guy gets the profit. Yeah. So this is ibda'. They're allowed to do ibda' because sometimes businesses do that. Like, for example, let's say you have employees at your workplace and you tell them to go and buy and sell stuff and they make the money for you. And they obviously, their payment is through something else, like an ijara form, for example. So you can do ibda' technique, right? You can do silent partnership called mudaraba, which we're going to do in the next chapter. Right? So mudaraba, silent partnership, where one guy does all the work and the other guy simply silently just invests and then they split the profit. Right? So mudaraba is jaiz. You can have tawkeel as well. You can you can get someone to actually become a wakil for you. So let's say you got some money and you want to, instead of you buying the car, you get someone else to buy the car for you. So you can do wakala, tawkeel. So ibda' is allowed, mudarab is allowed, tawkeel is allowed, because in the normal urf and the convention of these kind of transactions in the days of Sahaba and Tabi'in, these were things that were normal. And you can even give the wealth to someone else for safekeeping, amana. Right? So amana is allowed as well. So these are the four things that generally in these kind of businesses you actually apply. Right? So you're allowed to do any of these things. Anything conducive to the business, anything which is going to harm the business, like gambling or doing like buying haram things, then that will affect the deal, the contract. All right, so that's basically what you have. So لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِنَ الْمُتَفَاوِدَيْنِ, it's permissible for each of the two people that are doing mufawadain, shirkatul mufawada, unlimited, and sharikay al-inan, and the limited ones, and yubdi'a, that they both do ibda' of their mal, and they can hand it, yadfa'uhu mudarabatan, each of them are allowed to hand it to another person for mudaraba. Wa yuwakkil, and they can also do tawkeel of someone that invests in it, yatafassarraf fihi, like they want to give it to a broker to invest it in some businesses. Wa yaduhu fil mali yadu amanatin, and his hand will be considered to be amana. Right? So in other words, the person they give it to in all these cases will be amana. Right? So it's actually not really a fourth one. Yeah, I think maybe just get rid of this fourth one. It's actually three. So in all of these cases, it's going to be amana. He can give it to someone as amana to take care of. That's no problem. That's not really going to increase the value of it. Yeah, so all these three is talking about if one of these two were to give to another person as ibda', as mudaraba, or as tawkeel. Does that make sense? Khalas. And that's it, guys. And I see a lot of buyut, if you really study buyut properly, you can see how all buyut works in the real world. Right? If you just take any company out there and you strip it apart, you can see what kind of model they base their business upon. Right? Is it a shirka model? Is it a model that's ijara model? Or what is it? How does it work? You can see it all. All right, questions for you guys then. Number 1, what is shirkatul inan? Shirkatul inan is where you have different amounts of money invested by 2 people and both of them do work. Okay. On what basis does the limited shirka work? So limited shirka works upon wakala, not kafala. What's an example of wakala? An example of wakala is one of the guy buys something and then whatever amount they've decided to agree on the split, the other one has to pay that money as well. Okay. Are they allowed to invest different amounts of money? Yes. Are they allowed to invest in different currencies? Yes. What kind of things can they use for shirka? Is it just monies? What is it? So they can use gold, silver and cash and currency. So what is, if they have agreed upon a deal and before any of them have purchased anything, all their mal gets robbed or stolen or gets taken away from them, what happens to the shirka? Shirka gets void. Okay, what if one of them has bought something and the other one lost their wealth? Then what? Then whatever that one person has bought, it's still part of the shirka and the other one's not. Okay, if one of the two doesn't mix their wealth together, is the shirka still valid? Yes, it's valid. Why is it valid? Because you don't have to put the money into one kitty, into one place. Okay, and finally, is it permissible for them to have a fixed profit? No. Why is that? Because if they have a fixed profit, that means if only that much has been made, the other person is going to lose out. The other person has to make something. And what kind of models can they use? What kind of devices or business deals can they use inside of this shirka? So they're allowed to get someone else and do ibda' with them, mudaraba with them, and they're allowed to get them to invest in that money. And what will be considered their hand in all of this? Like the assets they have in their possession, what will be treated as? It'll be treated as amana. You guys know amana, yeah? Amana is basically as long as they don't do gross negligence, if it gets destroyed or stolen, they're not responsible for it. Does that make sense? Khalas, mashallah. Let me know what you guys think of these lessons, guys. And remember, hit the like button, subscribe button, and also beautiful thank you to all my wonderful patrons. If you guys want to become patrons and support my channel on a monthly basis, consider it. It means a lot to me. It helps my channel to grow, enables me to be able to take out time to make these videos as well. So, share it with other people. Consider becoming a patron or even a one-off donor. And I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.